What's going on, everybody in the chat? This is BMT. I wanted to talk with you guys about the header. Probably gonna rock with y'all, you know. So let somebody message me saying that they want to go live or whatever. But I wanted to talk with y'all, and this came up to me. A few people sent it to me. It was on Taraji P. Henson, and it was talking about how during the time of this pandemic, Taraji P. Taraji wanted to commit suicide, and she had been considering doing it for days. Now you can check my description and read up on it. I'm just giving you the short version of it. If you're coming on in the chat, just holler. I'm just gonna ramble and talk with y'all. But she wanted to take herself out. Well, let me share this. Let me share the stream. I get shadow banned heavy. I be getting hit heavy. No, here we go. I'll put that out there. But we're hearing on the talking point that having the money, the fame, the success, Taraji P, she had it all. She had it all. She still does. She's worth $25 million. She has one of the most iconic. She has some of the most iconic roles. She's a well successful woman. And seeing her with all the success and money and all the stuff she got going for her, she still wanted to take herself out. She still wanted to as she said it, she wanted to go in the safe in her house and blow her brains out. Now, we strongly advocate against suicide on this channel. Please get help. It's real. Please do not use substances as alcohol, drugs to ease the pain. It does not. It only amples the pain. A lot of people say it. Well, no, it does not ease the pain. It only builds it up like a plug, and then when it finally implodes or comes down, it will come down hard. And so we know that she was soon to get married, and that tanked. We know about her talking about her depression in Hollywood, about how she was treated and different other stuff, and how she just had a lot of things going on for her. And I can tell you right now, man. Hey Sheila, you know what I'm saying? How you doing? And this woman was battling. She was battling herself, man. We're glad that she did not kill herself. We're glad that she didn't end herself. But we're seeing that. I want you to understand, even on the side. And see, I've heard this before from women that they're on 4Bs, that they're running the home, that they running the world, that X, Y, and Z. Y'all, please don't let y'all think that the black woman is happy on top of her castle. Whoever's telling y'all that y'all thinking that the black woman is happy being up there alone and single with all that money, they lying to y'all. They may be singing songs. They may be out there dancing barefoot and saying that they refining their body. But I can tell you right now, when I done this security, I done seen these women at parties when they coming off their that liquor or that high. These women break down like little girls and start to scream and holler because it sets in something is still missing. I remember a woman that is well successful in my eyes and in my life. This woman is in her 60s and she runs 3 businesses, property and everything. I could almost say that this woman in my life is a mentor. And I remember I was helping her set up and plant a garden. And she just dropped the little mini shovel and started to cry. And I said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And she's like, "I don't want to die alone. I don't I don't want to be alone." Y'all, listen, man. Some women, I know that they're saying that they are strong, but some of them don't want to be that. They, I think we're misinterpreting, or some of them are now find out this is not the type of strength that they want. There's a difference between spiritual strength. There's a difference between knowing how to stand on your own 2 feet, and there's a difference of I'm alone and I'm trying to put up a game face so that way y'all don't see me cry, but I'm crying inside. A lot of these women now, they're crying. Money will only bring you so much happiness, y'all. Good morning, underrated. Good morning, brother. Money will only bring you so much happiness. Fame and having all these people around you and taking pictures on social media, those facades of hollow happiness, they will only take you and build you up so much. Now, but I'm not here to rag on the sister, but I'm here to show y'all that literally we are seeing a lot of these people having mental breakdowns. We're even seeing it with the children that they rear and raise. Lauren Hill. Lauren Hill daughter said it out her own mouth. Good morning, Super Mike. Lauren Hill's daughter, she started breaking down like a babe, like a child, saying that my mama was strong, but I don't want that kind of strength. I don't want that. I want to be able to run into a man's arms. You're now seeing it where a lot of these young boys, they out here getting all this money, all this fame, fortune, having all these women. But why are these young boys doing all these drugs and and trying to take themselves out? Why are they so quick to say, I just want to live young and die young because they're afraid to get old. Because as you start getting older and you start realizing you don't have the strength to run out there and live that same life, time and reality starts to set in. When you start to lay in that bed, that nice queen or king size bed, and you roll your hand across on the other side and see that person over there, you may have a body there too that might be able to lay there with you. You see, but see, you got to ask yourself, are they really there with you? Do they really love you? See, that was something that Taraji, when I listened to her interview, she was saying that I had many people around me, but I knew they wasn't really for me. And you see the same thing from see y'all. I gotta let y'all know a lot of y'all like as Mike said a good thing. A lot of these people have been deceived to think that something about these riches and materials that somehow that's going to fill in or equate to the peace that they need. Well, truly, we can't see that so because we're still seeing that these people see they're still taking themselves out. They're making it to the top of the mountain, but they're still dying lonely. We done seen it with the funerals. We done seen it with the way how people how they be acting when they doing drugs and all kind of stuff. What's going on, trailer? Y'all need to start understanding that this is not just anybody. This is an iconic woman in the community that literally since this pandemic was pushed to a threshold to where she wanted to blow herself away. And her last, thank goodness she had friends. They were just coming there just to sit down and, drink some, scotch or have some tea or have a little girl hour. And she said, I want to kill myself. This is her words. And luckily, somebody most likely took it serious and said, we need to take you to go get help. You see, some people they leave out subtle hints and clues. And see, I've been watching for a while on these social media. Yes, you might have a chat room full of 100 people, 200 or 300. Yes, you might have it where women may be showering you with money. Yes, you may have it where a group of men may be telling you, hold on, I think you're amazing. But deep down inside, you truly don't believe it. And you see, Sheila, that's very powerful what you just said. You got to hold your grandmother's hand and sit there with her on her last hour, her midnight hour. A lot, y'all don't understand, y'all. A lot of people don't get that. A lot of people will pay their fortune in the world just to have that. A lot of these men and women are right now, this money ain't sufficing enough. And you starting to say, well, shoot, you don't know that. How come you say we don't know that when we're seeing it's been in the Bible? We've seen men and women all over the world have literally done taken their lives. See, it's a lot different than when you have a house full of all these people, all these yes men and women. But then when things get real and they have to leave and see, you say, oh, y'all stay a little bit longer. See, I remember I used to have a friend like that. We're gonna just call him Jimmy. And Jimmy, he had money. Oh yes, he had money. And Jimmy loved it when we used to come by his house. But see, then when we would start getting phone calls from our spouses, from our loved ones, he'll be like, come on, stay longer. Come on, stay longer. Come on, I'll order some food. I ordered some entertainment. And I said, no, Jimmy, I gotta go home. I gotta go. I got my kid, you know, Mimi needs to go to sleep. I gotta go to my child. And he's like, well, you can bring them over here. No, Jimmy, I'm going home, Jimmy. I want to go home to my family. But I would see the look in his eyes where he would be like, I just want somebody to be here with me. And you're seeing a lot of these people that so-called have all this wealth and money on these social media and YouTube streets and all these talking points. But why are they still coming here hoping somebody will boot up a live stream just to acknowledge their existence if they have it so good in their home? You can say whatever you want to say about that woman who's shapely, but she has a man laying up right next to her. You can call and talk about that man saying that he's broke or he's not no certain value of a man, but he has a loving family that still sees value in that man. And see, you'll have a bunch of devils that will try to talk you away from your gift. Why? Because see, what has a man to gain than loseth his soul? See, they will try to talk you out of your home. See, they will try. See, and y'all gotta understand, man. There's some type of spirit out here that really is trying to destroy the family. Look at Monique. See, I can pull these people out all over the place. Monique Monique said she spent more time chasing the world in the streets. She said she spent more time chasing the streets and acceptance and passing off her own children. And to this day, even as a grown woman, a grandma, her own children do not accept her. Let that set in. She sacrificed her family for social media and the world's acceptance. Now, y'all see what's going on with Monique. Y'all see the things that are going on that she's dealing with. I've known plenty of men that have money, have fame, have women, but as they started to get older, one thing about it, they always started saying, is anybody going to come and see me? So they'll start trying to pay people to want to be around them. They're praying for other people just to want to be around them. And see, I've listen, man. I'm telling y'all right now. I've done seen some things since I was in the VA and I was laying up in the hospice care, and they didn't know if I was ready, if I could come out of the hospital. I listen, man. I listen. It is a scary thing when you laying up in that hospital late at night and see when you're on certain hallways. If you listen quietly, if you listen quietly you start hearing crying. You start hearing moaning. Grown men and grown women crying all through the hallways late at night in the hospice on the fifth and on the sixth floor. Y'all, it is a scary thing, Lord. I wish that upon nobody when I was up there. I don't know why I'm talking about like this, but when I was up there, and I mean, we and listen, y'all, we have money. A lot of us vets, we had money that were on those floors, and I would hear them crying, and I would try to pull my bed over close to their bed. What's wrong? Tears streaming down their face. You know, can you just be my son for the hour? This is a grown man asking me to be his son for the hour. I've had it where I sat down with women just to help them peel an orange, and they talking like they slip out calling me their child that don't even see them. Y'all gotta be careful what the world done fool up on y'all about. Y'all don't need family. Y'all don't need nobody. All you need is that money. All you need is that bag. That bag ain't gonna substitute for loved ones. That money, mind you, y'all listen, man. It is real out here. There's a reason. This listen, man. Y'all gotta understand. There's some forces out here to play, man. I'm so glad we have you here with us, Sheila. Exactly, Celeste. That's how it was working at the nursing home. All those rich people, family never came to see them. And late at night, you know what they be doing? Screaming and crying. It is one of the most scariest. I said, man, this must be the gates of hell. Trust and believe that was my motivation. They were like, BMT, why are you working so hard to walk? Why are you working so hard? I said, you can stay here. No, I want to go home. There's a reason why when people start getting older, what do they always ask for? Please, I want to die in my home. I want to go home. Y'all gotta understand a lot of these young people, they just had it with the baby. That man had all that money. And yet guess what? He was starting to contemplate his own life, taking out his own life. Don't let this money fool y'all up. See, they done told y'all and sold y'all a hollow fool's gold dream that you don't need nobody. But see, the thing about this thing that's happening to the world, you're starting to find out people need people. That's what they're finding out. They need people. People want to be held by somebody late at night where you can rest your head in their arms and say, baby, I love you. You don't have to go by yourself. They say, yeah, some people will never know that love of just holding somebody and comforting them. They think that their riches and their fame and their fortune is going to comfort them. And that's why they have to go from house to house to house and they can never find peace. Y'all don't know all these beautiful people. They can't find no peace. They can't keep no man in their bed. They can't keep no woman in the home. They can't keep nobody around them because they have not learned how to let go of these disgusting mindset and ideologies and this type of finance of that something about them is going to hold or keep that person around them. And I'll be lying to say Taraji is not a beautiful woman. She is. Taraji is a beautiful woman. And don't think it's only just a black thing. Will Robin Williams, that man was loved by the world. And he had mental problems. Even with all that money, all that fame and success, Robin Williams still had a chink in the armor where he took his own life. That's why I said y'all have to be careful. Be careful when y'all have these conversations about the value of having certain type of suits, money, clothes, wealth, and these people still dying miserable. These people still angry and bitter. Oh yeah, Wakanda, I told you. I told you. I like to keep my word, brother. You gotta understand a lot of these people, y'all got don't please y'all, don't let these materialistic things fool you up, man. My daughter broke my iPad yesterday. And she said, Daddy, you must hate me. I'm sorry. I must be I'm sorry I'm your bad daughter. And even though I was angry, I grabbed that child and I pulled that child into my chest. And I said, don't you ever say that ever again out your mouth that you're my bad daughter. You my child. I said, baby girl, this is just a materialistic thing, but I can't replace you. I can't replace. I can get 5, 6 iPads. I can get them and fill them up all over the room, but I can't replace you, my daughter. And see, my daughter needed to hear that from the mouth of her father, knowing that I can't replace you, baby. And see, the thing about it, I want you to understand, and thank you, Wakanda, for the 4.99. I major in psychology, and we, as Black Americans, must address the importance of mental health. And agreed. This is why I have no problem pulling pulling the ones I love close to me and saying, I love you. I called my brother and told him I love him and that he did a good job running the show yesterday. I don't have a problem expressing to myself. But see, that's the thing about it, that they'll shame people nowadays about being able to show affection and love towards other people, but they'll say that makes you look weak. It doesn't make you look weak. That makes you strong. Me being able to hold my son and hug him in front of other people and kiss him and say, oh, you're gonna feminize him. I'm not feminizing my son. I'm loving my son. Some boys wish and some men wish that they had their father to just hold them and say, I love you, boy. You my son. So they'll run out there in the streets and out there in the world towards other men and be caught and um and compromising positions. Well, they'll be used and abused and used and abused time and time and time again. I've seen I've seen the way how women look at me, the way how I interact with their mother and my children. Women watch how men interact with other women, especially their own. And in the back of their head, they revert back to that's how my father should have held me. I remember a woman stopped me when I was coming into the grocery store. She stopped me when I was coming into the grocery store with my daughters. She said, I would have paid Like this woman, mind you, this woman was beautiful. She said, I would have paid to have just 1 hour that a man would hold me the way you held your daughters close to you and walk me across the street. Granted, this was a beautiful woman. And she didn't have on no clothes. She dressed nice and everything. But I'm like, you in my mind, I'm like, my daughter was like, wow, daddy, she's pretty. But even with all that beauty, and you see a lot of these girls who look beautiful are still being used and abused and used and turned out by the world and thrown away. Y'all gotta understand mental health is real. Right now, there's a mental sickness going on. You see, a lot of people misery loves company. I remember that when I would go to work. See, nobody likes to really hang around the positive people. Oh gosh, who wants to hang around the positive people? Ugh. But boy, we had some good times at that smoke pit. Mm. Oh yes, sir. We had some good times at that smoke pit. Come on, underrated. Come on, trailer. Come on, Wakanda. Let's go to the smoke pit, and we'll start sitting there and start festering in our negativity like a pack of demons. You saw the way how Sheila was trying to show out who the F she thinks she is. She thinks she better. And we would just sit there and stir in our putrid stank of negativity. See it's so much easier to hang around the negative crowd because all we got to do is take down, tear down, destroy. But it takes a true judge of character to build up. And one time I thought about it. I said, well, I remember this one person. I taught them how to change a tire. And I had a little trick for changing the tire if it was too hard to get the nut off. And I know it was corny how I would take the nut off, but it worked. So when I taught the one person how to do that, and they were doing it, they were laughing and talking about that person. And I stopped laughing. I'm like, whoa, hey, if y'all make fun of them, what do y'all say about me? Oh, come on, mother effer. Come on, sucker. We just having fun. And I was watching that person out there, and it started to rain. They were trying hard. And as the demons at the smoke pit, we were enjoying, I'm including myself, we're enjoying that misery and the suffering. That person was out there in the freezing cold rain fighting to get that lug nut off. And something told me to just go. And I went out there in the freezing cold rain and I put my jacket over that person and I said, move your hand and I'm gonna put my weight on the T and we're gonna get this lug nut off. Oh, Celeste. Didn't you know, baby? Negativity is the easiest, most savoriest potion. Because see, so long as we are festering on that negativity, we don't have to focus on us and what on us we need to fix. See, this is why a lot of people like talking about just negative stuff. This is why you hear a lot of the streams always on something about death and destruction and this group failing or this kind of people or look at them and that. This is why you notice they always focus on the evils of a person or of a group or of a sex or how much money they have. See, they'll always point out the negativity. Look at Celeste. She's this. She's that. And we'll keep on spewing arrows at her. Why? Because we don't want to have to look at what we got going on inside of us. And I remember that when I tried to do good, it was harder because the path was more narrow. It's very hard sometimes, y'all. Listen, man. Sometimes I battle myself. I would be lying to y'all. I've had time. I battle myself every day, man. I remember when I remember when I was dealing really heavy with my mental health. So much so that I didn't even want to be around family. So I went out there into the world and I left my family. I went out there and had I had women, I had coke, and I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about that BS coke. I'm talking about I had that good coke. I'm talking about if you want putting down $300, I don't know what you couldn't sit at the table with me. Thank you, Celeste. Thank you, baby. You really got me thinking now. I have to do some self reflection and watch what I allow into my space. Yes, you do. Y'all need to be careful of the panels and the stuff that y'all entertain. Y'all better start being careful what you entertain. Y'all hear? Because the same way as you entertain that type of energy, best believe that same energy, it will knock back at you. And believe me, like I said, I was out there, y'all. I was out there staying high, drunk, laying up with women, going to the casinos, going out there late at night. And I remember this one girl, she said, I got to go home. She said, Joe, I got to go home. I said, baby, come on, lay down, stay up with me. Come on, don't leave me. No, Joe, I got to go home. I haven't seen my baby all day. And I pulled her arm and she turned around and she slapped me. She said, Pop. She slapped me in my face. And she said, when the last time you called your family? When the last time you called your children? She said, don't you feel any shame? She said, I feel sorry for you. You have all this money and you have all this power, yet you rather squander it than be with your family. She didn't even bother putting on her shoes. She walked to the door, took her keys. She said, Joe, I love you, but you'll never see me again. And she meant that. But it wasn't the slap that hurt me. It wasn't the slap that hurt me. It was the stinging of the words that she put on me. It was the stinging of the words she put on me. Because I understood that no matter how much of the world that said that no matter how much of the world that I accrued, the world will never love me back. That was a really hard lesson that I think a lot of people are is kicking their butt. I want somebody out there that y'all play this for them. I want them to hear this. No matter how much money, how much power you accrue, the world is incapable of loving you back. Good morning, back to the basics. Good morning, beautiful. The world is incapable of loving you back. The world is incapable of loving a child. The world is incapable of loving you, my brothers. The world is incapable of loving you, my sisters. Look how it perverts children. Look how it perverts children. I saw a stream that we reported to get taken down. They had an 8-year-old girl doing splits and wearing these nasty, provocative clothes. And as people were sending her money, this is the 8-year-old child that people were sexualizing her while she was dancing. And if y'all could see the words that men and women were saying in that stream, you would have flagged it like I had to, and other people did. Y'all gotta understand, man. This world is a disgusting, cold place. Y'all don't see these men that be coming on these live streams and how they be talking about their depression. A lot of people on social media have something mentally inept with them. I'm not saying everybody. You gotta be very careful with some of it. But a lot of people have with the social media have issues. See, I'm fine with whatever people say about me because I have an intact circle. So I can turn off this stream and rest my head in peace, in power. Somebody's saying, BMT, they're talking about you. Okay. You ain't gonna say nothing back. Why? Why would I care? See, I'm within my own power. This materialism of being able to brag off how many women you get, how much men give you money and gifts and shower you. Y'all gotta be careful with that. That's a bait. That's a trap. You think I would want to see it where they would walk little Celeste out there and prostitute her to the world for men to attack, sexualize, and abuse? Y'all don't think that don't wear down on people's spirit, wear down on their mind? You think I would want to see it out there where men and well, men and women disrespect, underrated, while he's out there speaking his truth, and people try to perverse it? What about when Chill is spilling out his heart, or back to the basics of sharing a part of her soul on trying to get people the proper knowledge that they need? See, I see the way how these things out here go. I remember when Taraji P said, "Y'all liked it better." She said this, and this was very interesting. She said this when she had gotten um her award. Y'all liked it better when I was a crackhead, when I played a crackhead, a prostitute, and a felon. But anytime I played a role of empowering myself as a woman, y'all did not care. Y'all didn't care for when I was playing roles of empowerment. But the minute I started putting out all kind of stuff where I degraded myself, the world, y'all loved me. Y'all praised me, and y'all gave me awards for it. And when they asked her that at a movie, at a radio interview, she said that really hurt her. She said that had hurt her, that people were more accepting of her degrading herself rather than actually raising and promoting herself. What's going on, hooded one? That's why when some people say, "Oh, BMT, I liked it better back in the day when you used to go in on," I said, I got tired of that, man. That takes a lot of energy to keep on going in. You got to stay in a dark place to keep going in like that. I'm sorry, I just don't have that type of energy. Yep. Oh my gosh, Wakanda, you so true. Yep. With Hallie. Yep. hmm Had her looking all kind of ways out there. The world loves things of the world. Y'all gotta be y'all really need to pay attention to the pieces of the puzzle. Do y'all not notice that it's hard to put out a positive message nowadays? But let you put out some negativity, or they'll love you. or they'll praise you. They'll kiss you on your lips. I remember, as famous as Prince was singing songs that they out to get me. And people wondered, Prince, what do you mean by that? Prince, who would be out to get you? The world loves you. And he would sing songs about, listen, y'all, y'all don't want this. Now, why would a beautiful man like Prince say something like that out of his mouth? Exactly. Minute Hallie played a doggone crackhead, that's when she all of a sudden she blew up. Man, all of a sudden, y'all gotta understand, man. The world love it when you degrade yourself. That's why I said, like, y'all look at these people when they be singing. Y'all see these young people nowadays singing songs about how they have to sexualize themselves, degrade themselves, and not just even in the songs. And I'm talking about even in the movies, on Instagram, any of these things. I promise you got to do some egregious, disgusting stuff. You see, but to be fair, and Ghost, you asked a good thing. Who goes into entertainment without knowing that it will destroy you to the core? See, I think the thing about it is, it's the hopes and dream that I want to get a better lifestyle. I want to have a better feel of things. Heck, I can't lie. When I started to climb up, the way I did, I was doing boxing. I was doing the military. I was traveling the world. But see, I had a little mama like Celeste, I had a baby at home. I spent more time chasing the world, and when she would call, Mimi would call and say, "Hey, you wanna come? You wanna talk on the phone with me and the baby?" Now I gotta go on a mission. See, I wanted to chase the world. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see many things and make money and see exotic places. And see, my mom, she was in Dubai, and she's a contractor. My mother asked me, she said, Joe, I said, what's up, mom? No, sir. I said, I'm gonna take you shopping. She said, when the last time you been home? When the last time you been home? I said, why? My mom stopped. She stopped eating her meal and pulled her chair up close to me. She pulled out her phone and she showed me a picture of Mimi. She said, how old is your son? Hmm? How old is your son, Joe? I said, Mama, why you asking me this question? But how old is my son? How old is your son? I couldn't answer my mom. She said, Josiah, your son is 1 year and 4 months old. She showed me pictures with him at the park, him at the zoo. I said, "Hey, who taking my who taking my boy to all these places?" And she was like, "Well, you gotta understand, son. You haven't been home. That's your that's your kingdom. You didn't know Mimi had already moved. So you mean I've been gone so long, I hadn't even been in my own home. Granted, I mean, she still lived in the same state. She just relocated from the one house to the other house. She just moved down like an hour down in Florida. Florida's a beautiful place. And the thing about it was, I had to learn it's time for me to go home. It was time for me to go home. And I'm glad I did. I could have lost my family. And I've had times where I almost lost them. I do have children. I have households that I have to take care of. But I understand that the world cannot replace the happiness that I need from my family, from my loved ones, and the peace that I demand. I demand peace. I demand peace. I don't know anything else. I don't want anything else. I know some people may tell y'all don't need a family, y'all need all that stuff. Y'all can have that. I don't care for it. Y'all can have that. But I'm not giving this up. No, no, I'm good. Ladies, don't let the world talk you out of your home. Oh yes, it's been doing that lately. Fellas, don't let the world talk you out of having that of a family, having stability and peace. We had it where people used to fight hard for that. I know, I know, Taylor. A lot of men. Y'all let the world will talk you out of your home. They'll talk you out of your family. I remember a time when me and Super Mike were doing a panel, and we had it where men were trying to convince us about giving up the home. Now here we had it where men were trying to convince me and Super Mike, two seasoned men, and giving up the home. But on another stream, these same men were complaining about we need fathers in the home. So let me get this straight. You were telling two men to beware of the woman in the home, but then on another stream, y'all talk about brothers, you need to be in the home. This is why I tell you, y'all gotta be careful. You had it where women, y'all gotta be careful of these talking points for certain women where they will tell you you don't need that man. You don't need that. You don't need no man. You don't need to be under no subjugation. But then we will see it when y'all will get dogged out by the world, and then out of the same breath, you will look towards the heavens like Meg the Stallion to say, where are the men I need to protect me? Hold up, baby. You just bragged about you don't need your man. You just told the world in a dying breath, you don't need that man, or you don't need nobody. You're strong and independent by yourself as you can be. But now you're telling these women, we all we got. It was very interesting to watch you do a song with Beyonce the next month, and I'm sure Beyonce must have looked at you crazy. Beyonce was probably saying, "Hold up, you can sing that song all you want, baby. Listen, listen. You can say you a savage. Listen. I don't say that stuff to Jay. I'm not giving up my family, my man, my kids, my kingdom. I'm not leaving my throne for you." I mean, hey, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. Y'all can try to re-describe it as much as you can, but see, we see the inconsistency. I mean, look at it. I mean, I watched it. I've watched it time and time again. I'm watching a lot of these men talk about we have to leave the culture. It's dangerous. I said, well, brother, you got to understand. When you're in your home, you make your own culture. And my culture is that everybody in the house takes off their shoes. That's the culture. If my culture says that my woman says, oh, at dinner time, everybody eats at the table, that's the culture. If we have a culture that every last day of the month, we sit down and we pray to our ancestors, guess what? That's the culture. See, you make the culture within your home, not the culture out there in the streets. I don't care about street culture. I don't care about the worldly culture. I don't care about what the world tells me what I should be doing. My home is my world. My home is my culture. I had single friends try to convince me I shouldn't be submissive to my husband and ask for his permission. Yet these same women came from two-parent households with a dominant father. We're joined here by my good friend and co-host, um, Triller. What's going on, brother?
Man, you preaching that good word tonight, brother. Or I should say this morning, rather.
We trying to talk to them. We're looking at it from the premise of
I
we
like how
have
you
to.
just said that too. Talk to them, not at them. Talk to them.
Mhm. We trying to talk because we try to. when we look at it, where a woman that had 25 million, she's, we're looking at very successful people that are, they have the money, the fame, the fortune, everything one can dream of,
It just goes to
and and
just
it's
goes.
right.
Money
The-
don't make happiness, man. I'm telling you.
But see, but Trilla, they'll tell you that you got it all. They'll tell you you have it all. You have the money. You have the fame. You have the women. All the X, Y, and Z. Why do you need? Why would you? You don't need to go home.
You want to know who some of the most miserable people were that I ever knew in life? Some of the people that were the most depressed and miserable with themselves?
Who?
The ones that had money, had the brand new vehicle, had all the toys, but nobody to go home to but theyself. Because all that don't matter when you ain't got no one in your life to share it with.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you, the one thing that I've learned by, especially through this pandemic and watching with, like you said, with some of these wealthy, movie stars and stuff, you're starting to see it affect them now too, man. And they're starting to realize just how empty their home is, even if
Hmm.
they do have someone there, because they've been so caught up in, the glitz and the glamour and all the lies and all this, and now they're being forced to stay home and realizing they don't have a home.
Hmm. Hmm. That is so true. I think that had a guy that he had a beautiful woman, and I said, why? Oh, he asked me, he said, can I sleep on your couch? I said, hmm? I said, you can't do that, man. I said, you got a whole home. He said, man, I said, you got a whole home. You got a whole body, at the home. He said, man, I've been laying up with a stranger for 2 years of my life. I don't even know who this person is. I said, have you ever tried to get to know them? He said, no. But now, I don't, I don't want to. I don't know that.
Wow. You know how many friends me and the wife have personally just since this pandemic that now they're getting divorced?
I mean,
Oh man, it's ridiculous. There's probably, I think we know about 8, 9 couples now that are either getting divorced or separated because they realized with having to spend this much time together that they didn't like each other.
mm. We're joined here by a beautiful, immaculate, back to the basics. What's going on, Grand Risings Queen?
How's it going, young lady?
Grand risings to you. Here, let me turn my mic up a little bit. Yeah, you got. I didn't realize. I said I was. I had woke up a little bit ago, and I said, you know what? I'm going to see who's on. And then you popped up, and then you started preaching to the choir. I said, my goodness. I'm glad I caught this one.
Mm,
Yeah, I noticed. I think now this is just me. Now, to be honest, I've never been married.
uh-huh,
However, I have been engaged. And I'll tell you something, that taught me something. Because we went through premarital counseling, right?
uh-huh.
Because I told him, I said, and he agreed to that. He said, he's 100%. I said, hey, I do believe we need to go through premarital counseling because once we get to the aisle, there's not going to be any surprises. You're going to know exactly who you're marrying. There's not going to be any surprises
Uh-huh.
after we do what we do. Um, yeah, there's not going to be any surprises. So there were some issues that came up during, during the engagement. But there were a few things that I learned. Um, it didn't work out, but that doesn't mean that he was trash. It was just that we weren't on the same page. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go get on here and try to drag somebody just because it didn't work out. But what I learned is that whenever we would argue or have our disagreement, should I say, um, you know, active listening is really becoming a lost art, and lack of communication. And that's where sometimes we weren't even on the same page because somebody wasn't listening. Sometimes I wasn't listening.
That's so
Mm-hmm.
true.
Sometimes he wasn't listening. You see what I'm saying? It's not about, oh
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm gonna make him look bad or he's gonna make me look bad. It's just that's what happens. And perception and the person's mindset. So I think the vetting process, Mr. Trailer Hood here, you said, sir, that they realized how they didn't even like each other. That's a terrible thing
Ain't
to
it though?
find out after you get married that, oh, dang, I don't even like you.
And
It's
some of
like,
these people have kids.
mm-hmm, yeah. So I would rather be engaged and then, okay, it don't work out than to already be, you know, 2 and 3 kids in, and then all of a sudden be like, oh, well, I guess I won't go anywhere because I want to stay together for the kids. And I can understand that, but that in itself is a two-edged sword because at the end of the day, children are very sensitive. They're very special. I believe that they're a gift from God. And children can tell if love is actually really there or not. So if and that's where my issue is when people say, "Oh, well, we stayed together because of the kids." Yeah, but now your kids, like whenever they start having relationships, like you are that Model T. Like you are the first representation of sort of what a relationship even looks like.
Right.
So when they start dating and courting, then they're going to think, as far as what they experience in their environment at home, at school, in their neighborhood, anything that's done, if there's a lot of yelling and screaming going on and people, throwing stuff across the room and all that, or whatever have
They
you,
become that.
that exactly, all because children model after what they see.
And the
Now,
first two heroes in their life are their mom and dad.
exactly. Hmm. So whenever I hear people say, well, I want to stay together because of the kids, yeah, but you're teaching them that is sort of like the standard, like there's nothing else better. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's where I get my concern.
Yeah, sometimes you got to realize that as hard as it may be, you know, walking away and trying to be, co-parents and be amicable about it is the best thing for your children if you can do that.
You know, this person, and I don't ever name people. This one person said, we were talking about relationships and everything. And they said, I was married to this person, but I never loved them. And I said, well, what do you mean? I married them, but I never loved them. I just was married to them. I was always angry and bitter and sad. And then I spoke to a man another separate time. And he told me, I I lusted after this woman. I impregnated this woman, but I never loved her. I just lusted after her, but I never truly loved her. So I said, so why did you do what you did with her? Because I just wanted a piece of her. We have to understand and be careful because that playing with those types of strings with people are very highly dangerous. They're very dangerous. They do a lot of harm. We've seen it. We've seen what it does to homes, to children. Men would love to lay down with the woman, but don't want her. You want access to her, but you don't want her. And in a hollow shell of pain, the woman has a child. That man does not want to deal with that child. I just wanted access to the woman. A woman marries a man that loves her, cherishes her, but she tells him, I love you, but I never really want to marry you. I just did it out of necessity. I'm sorry. That same man, later on this pandemic, killed himself. Y'all can understand some people are mentally sick and they're hanging on the verge.
Yeah,
We got a problem out here, man.
I'll
We
be
do.
honest. I'll be honest with you, brother. There are two major lessons that I learned in life probably about 8 years ago. One was that I realized that the reason why I was out sleeping around with whatever woman I wanted to sleep around with and not ever being happy and finding real love is because I didn't have no respect for myself. Didn't care, you know? And that was a hard lesson to learn, that I had no respect for myself. That's why I was being the way I was being. The second lesson I learned in life, I know I've told you that, me and you talked about this before, you know, that circle I used to live in. 7, 8 year circle, think everything's going good, smack a wall, have to reset your life, start it all over again. Well, there's one day I was looking in the mirror, had an epiphany, you know, and it was, why am I always trying to change everything outward about myself? My outward appearance ain't what the problem is. It's my inward appearance. It's what's coming out from the inside. And until I was able to realize that my inside was broken because I spent entirely too much time blaming others for the decisions I made or the path that I took that allowed all this evil to come into my life and disrupt it, things always kept living in that circle. But once I realized that, which was a hard pill to swallow too, that I was responsible for my own self-destruction, that's when everything changed.
Anything you guys want to say?
Do what?
Anything you guys want to say before I wrap it up?
We'll let Miss Back to the Basics speak. She came back on. Let's see what she has on her mind. See if she's got something, a good word to tell these men and women out here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you for allowing me to speak on your platform. Um, as
No
far
problem.
as as far as the people who are battling mental illness, I really do feel for you. I myself, I went through a really bad depression in 2019. It was not good, but there is hope out there. Um, Hopefully everybody got like a paper or pen. I might have to put something in the chat. If you are going through depression and anxiety and having suicidal ideations. I mean, I do highly recommend a few things. I'm not a mental health professional, so as a disclaimer, this is for educational purposes only. However, I am a medic, so but definitely journal. I found journaling to be a very healing thing as far as writing things out on paper, whether if it's thoughts or something that happened that day. I also found certain things like colloidal silver that actually helped boost my mood.
Mm.
Actually helped stabilize my mood because as a woman, we can get we can get emotional. We can be high and low, um, as far as our emotions and as far as our energy.
No,
So
well,
definitely colloidal silver. I hope the guys are taking a hint because if it's not too late to do a late holiday gift. I'm gonna put it in the chat, and I might even try to get the link to it.
that'd be
So
awesome.
colloidal silver, I know GNC has it, but it does. You just take a little bit. Um,
what is colloidal silver?
Actually, let me grab my box.
Now back. Now a question I want the it's
I
called
got.
colloidal silver.
Mm-hmm.
Now
might have to turn my camera on. Hold on just a second, y'all.
now back.
Mm-hmm.
Now okay, there we go. We saw it. We didn't see all of it. But, okay, we see it right there. Where can you get that from?
GNC has it.
How much they sell that for?
Oh, I had to check the price. It's
Now I'm
usually
assuming it's
under.
not real. I'm assuming it's not real silver. It's some kind of herb.
Yes. Here. I'm gonna see if I can get the. Oh wow. Let me see if I can get the ingredients to blow up on here.
Okay,
Oh, can you see that? Is it
uh,
blurry?
that's a little bit blurry,
Okay, I'm
but
gonna read. I'm gonna read it to you. So the
Yeah, I'm
ingredients
an old man
are.
who can't see.
That's fine. The ingredients are steam distilled water,
uh-huh,
pharmaceutical grade silver,
uh-huh.
and protein. That is all that's in here. Three ingredients, and guess what? You can actually read those ingredients. You don't have to sound them out.
Right on.
Right
So,
on. Now, back to the basics.
mhm.
You are a successful woman. You have your own money. You have a lot of things going good for you. Why now in the chat you said you want the you want a family. You want to have that. But the world is saying different. Like you don't need that. You could do it all on your own. You could be successful and have it all. Why tether yourself to that of a man? Why tether that of yourself to what I'm saying? Or even if you deal with a man, you might end up pregnant. You might end up with a child. You don't want that. Why would you want to deal with that kind of stuff when you have your freedom? You can go do whatever you want.
Well, I mean, I don't. I've always been pro family. I don't know why. Why wouldn't I want to have a family? That's what I want to ask somebody who has that mindset. I mean, the family is the basic block of society. I mean, once that starts splitting, then society has a problem, and the all one would have to do is just research the statistics on not just the divorce rate and the marriage rate, but also the rate of single-headed family homes. So I mean, that to me concerns me when I see that there's a lot of broken families out there. But for me personally, I mean, again, I came from an environment where I had a very masculine father. I mean, the feminists would call him toxic masculinity because I mean he was a James Brown,
Uh-huh.
Papa don't take no mess type of dude. He wasn't going. And my mom is a very feminine, submissive person, a woman. So that's the environment that I grew up in. So I mean, this is where environment matters. I don't, I see, I hear some of the feminist talking points, but here's the problem. Just like you mentioned before, in this live stream, these same women, they'll put on the pants, they'll put on the apron, and they'll, okay, black girl magic, and I can do all these things, and I don't need a man. But then time stuff gets rough. Who do they call on? They have the nerve to fix their mouth, turn
Mhm.
around, and then look at the black man. Well, the black woman needs protection, and the black man. This is where I can literally lose my mind. I mean, that's just me personally. I mean, I can literally just be like, what are you talking about? But didn't you just say a little bit ago that you didn't need no help? Oh, I don't need no man. I pay my bills, I go to school, and I take care of my children. Okay. Well, then keep right on doing that. Because if you I mean, if you're doing all that and you say that you don't, okay, I think there was something going on with my microphone there, or with the
Yeah,
with
you can say it again.
with the
We-
browser. Oh,
You
what
can,
was going?
no, you can go ahead and say it again. If you feel like you missed it, you can go ahead and say it again. We're listening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, because I said some of these some women now, not all women, but when they say that, that's where I get concerned. Like you just said, you didn't need anybody, but then time
Mhm.
something goes wrong, then you guys, the same some of the same women be then dragging black men. Well, black men need to protect us and all this other stuff, but you just said you didn't need a man. You just said that. So how can you say that and then say that in the same breath? I just don't understand. Like,
Right.
I mean, it confuses me. I'm like, okay, so I'm better off here, starting a family, being in a relationship then. So
Mm.
I don't know what it is. Everybody like, yeah, you're single, you got freedom. Who said you didn't have freedom just because I committed to someone and I have a family? I don't see where that's not having freedom. It just means that now more people are involved and the roles and responsibilities have changed. It's no longer about me, and that's what the problem is. I'm gonna let these feminists have it. The problem isn't about freedom. The problem is narcissism. The problem is you want everything to be about you. You
Oh
don't want you
Lord,
don't want to have a man. You don't want to have
Mm.
children. You want to be out there fighting it up,
good
doing
thing this
doing
is
what you
early in the
do,
morning.
whopping,
Mm.
popping,
Mm.
lock popping, dropping, and twerking. That is what your problem is.
Can I add to that real quick too?
Go
Yes,
ahead,
you
brother.
can.
There's one thing that's always bothered me about some of these women, and I've watched it personally. That the ones that'll, like you said, that'll sit and say one thing and double speak the next. One of those double speaks are the one. You got these women that bitch about baby daddies that don't help take care of their kids while they're in a bar using their child support card to get drunk on. If you're bitching about your daddy not or baby daddy not taking care of your kids, but he's giving you money, why are you spending that to get drunk at the bar or on whatever to come home and lay in your bed with you rather than spending that shit on your kids? I've always been annoyed by that. Because me personally, I'll do without for my kids. I've went without for my kids. And I don't understand how anybody couldn't go without just to do for their kids. Kids. That's one thing that people need to realize: their kids didn't ask to be here. They're the result of 9 times out of 10 impulse. And generally it's a drunken impulse. And then they get put on the side burner, on the back burner, being used as a weapon against someone, and then taken advantage of. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I definitely agreed. Like child support is for the children. It's not for mommy care. It's not for, oh, I need to go get my hair and nails done. I know what I've seen. Now I know not all women are doing this. I got it.
I agree.
But I know for a fact that there was a gentleman. who was very well known, and he had a good job working at the gas, a utility company. And every time he got promoted, guess what she did? She had the
Take it
nerve
for
to take her tail on down to the court and ask for a mollification, meaning that she asked for more money. Real interesting. Every time she asked for more money, her hair was done, nails was done. Meanwhile, I looked at her kids. Her kids are wearing hand-me-downs. I said, interesting. So we see where the money is going to.
when I was single, if I ever dated a woman that had kids, that was the first thing I did was look at how she dressed her kids. If she dressed better than her kids did, and her kids weren't dressed better than her, then I didn't want to spend time with her because I have kids. And I knew that she wouldn't be good wife or mom material because kids should always come first.
Oh, absolutely. And I know what some people say, well, I'm not trying to look tore up. Listen, ain't nobody said you had to come out the house with your bathrobe on, your slippers, and rollers in your hair. Ain't nobody said you had to do all that. But the children should not be looking. I mean, and the, and the children were mixed race. So you have to have you can't be having people's hair looking all kind of way. I said, come on now. And kids are cruel today. I mean, it's not like kids were never ever cruel, because shoot, bullying's been around for decades. But I mean, particularly today, shoot, if you don't have on a name brand or something like that, oh, you're gonna get made fun of. And I know that we shouldn't get wrapped up in the name brands, but if you don't look presentable, if you don't, if you're not looking straight, too.
That's why me and my wife, we do without, man. That way, because I understand, I think a lot of us as parents, we understand, how that is with with your kids, and how the social pecking order goes in school. And especially if you was one of them kids that had to deal with that, like me, my parents were poor as shit, and I'd get laughed at school because my mom used to go to the neighborhood garage sale, and I'd be wearing everyone else's last year's, gear while they were getting new gear, and obviously she bought it in town from people in town. So everybody knew, but so I don't want my kids to have to go through that,
Yeah, and even whenever I was younger, I mean, I've dated a gentleman who had three daughters, and I remember, we had planned for a date, and something came up with his daughter, and then he did all this apologizing and, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, what are you doing? I said, why all this explanation? Like, that's your daughter, right? Well, yeah. I said, well, then there's no reason to get all upset over that. I'm like, I'm not upset about it. If we can't see each other at this particular time and day, there's another time and day that we can see each other. Like, I'm not gonna get mad over, something that involves your children. Like, I never was like that. So I'm like, you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, that's the problem with some of these women. It's narcissism. They don't want to have the responsibility of taking care of a household, of children, and submitting to a man. That's what the problem is. They don't talk about, oh, freedom. I want freedom. You have freedom. You act like you're gonna be walking around there with with a leash on you or something. You got freedom. You got freedom of movement. That right there is just a cop out.
You got the same problem with men though too. You got men out there that they think that a woman submitting means that they need to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen cooking all the time and bending over backwards, and that really ain't the case. I don't see a submissive woman as a woman that allows a man to just bark orders and sit on the couch, hey woman, go get me a beer, type shit, because that's not showing respect. Submissive is, in my opinion, is being understanding, and if someone asks you to do something, you do it, not being told to do something and responding to it. There's a lot of men out there that are equally narcissistic and think that because they're the man and because they may make more money than their girlfriend or wife do, that they should that their word should be over top of everything else, and that the girlfriend or wife shouldn't have any kind of decision making or any say in any decision making process. And I think that causes a lot of arguments and tears households apart when you're not just willing to sit down and treat someone that you're with as an equal.
If I might give a little pushback, see, I don't like that word equal. I don't like that because here's my issue. And I'm gonna try to explain this. It seems like to me, now maybe I'm wrong and you can correct me, but with everything that I've experienced in my life, there is a hierarchy. If I go to school, if I'm a student, there's a teacher, there's a principal, there's a superintendent of schools. If I go to work, I got a supervisor, they have a supervisor, they have a supervisor, all the way up to the owner.
Right. I
So
get
to
you.
me, you know what I mean, but I understand. I definitely understand where you're coming from as far as your viewpoint. But to me, that word equality, it just keeps being one of those narratives that definitely the feminist movement definitely continues to go, oh, equal. But that's the thing. If believe me, as a woman, I'm just speaking for myself. I don't want to be equal to a man, and here's my reason. If they were to, okay, so for example, right, here's a good example: selective service. Now that's for men who are what, between the ages of 18 and 55, right? So all these women talk about they equal to men. What if they change that up and they open it up to women?
Well, and they don't even think about it. What if they got forced to sign up for the draft?
Right, exactly. But yeah, well, yeah, we're equal to men. Okay, you do you really know? Do you really know what comes with that?
And that's
So
something that all boys have to do, even still to this very day. The day they turn 18, they have to sign up and register for the draft, man.
exactly.
And I guess I was I can see where you're coming from with that equal thing. I get it, what you're saying, that there is a hierarchy. And, for the most part, when me and the wife, we have discussions and stuff, and, but it is usually me that she has making decisions all the way down to where we eat, because I have yet to meet a woman that knows what they want to eat for dinner.
Brother BMT, I got a question for you. Do you mind if I use you as an example?
Sure.
Okay. So you're a man in your household. Am I right about that, or am I wrong about it?
All right.
Okay, so you're the captain of the ship. And let's say your partner, whoever she is, let's say she sees something that you don't see. You're over there, you're driving the ship, you're in charge of everything. So what happens if the ship at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, there's a watchman up there and they start sounding the alarm saying, hey, we got an issue up here, we need to either slow down or we need to turn port or aft, we need to go right or left. And let's say you don't listen to that watchman, and then if something happens to the ship, now what would that be called? You see what I'm saying? Now mind you, still the captain and the watchman is just assisting. You see what I'm saying?
It is my job as the captain to take responsibility for my actions. And if I cannot get my family or the people on the ship off the ship, it is my job to go down with the ship. But if I can get them off the ship, then as a captain, I can get off the ship. I can lead the ship also. That's actually a real thing. Actually a real
I
thing.
see that.
One more question. When the watchman told you about the danger that was coming up ahead, was that watchman usurping, or should I say undermining, your authority?
No, no. He actually, he actually was actually coming to. He was actually coming toward the authority to us, notify me to make the proper channel commands to hey, we need to start getting ready for this. We either need to slow down for this. Um, there's a whole ladder of stuff like when I in dealing with a woman, like, for ladies, y'all gotta understand, being in a home with a man, you don't lose power. It only enhances your power. Like you know, you can understand. Like a good man, he's gonna listen. He's gonna hear you out. You know, okay, sure, all right, I hear you. Boom. I'm not gonna say we're always gonna agree. We're gonna have our days. We're gonna have our times where we butt heads. But guess what? I'm gonna hear you.
Right.
I hear you. You know. But also the same thing. It also comes with a package deal that hey, I'm the captain. Trailer's a captain. So in that sense, you're saying I trust in my captain to lead us. That's why That's why I hear the vitriol when some women say, "I ain't want no man to lead me." Well, what do you? Somebody's gonna lead you, baby. Whether you like it or not, somebody's gonna lead you. Your funky behind will go to work and let that boss lead you. You will clock in and let society lead you. But you don't want somebody who will love you, build with you, and cherish you lead you. See, this is why I know that the world done got y'all twisted, men and women. I don't, I don't worry about. Well, don't get no woman at home. She'll take you for everything you got. Well, what kind of woman are you dealing with? Granted, I understand. But if you are a good captain and you're running a good ship, your crew will follow you. Listen. I haven't always been on point. I'm never gonna lie and say every day. Goddamn, it was, peaches and cream, and we had a good time and skipping and daisy. Listen, sometimes I've had days where my kids did not like me.
Oh shit, my son hates me every day.
I mean, it comes with the territory. I have days, gee, I know. Listen, I will not begin a family member of the month. I will probably never win that. However, it comes with the legacy, comes with the task, and I'm watching a lot of people that speak. You know, they speak on how the home should be, but they don't want to enter in the home. I listen to a lot of women speak on how the home and how they should be treated and how the home should be treated, but they're not in the home.
They want a home, but not the responsibility of it.
Mm.
And one of the things hear myself telling my 5-year-old now that you guys bring this up all the time. The thing I'm always repeating is, son, I am raising you to be a leader, not a follower. Stop following all these dumbass kids that you hang out with and acting like them, because you are your own person and you are going to lead them someday. Stop following.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the world has kicked my butt plenty of times. I've had times where I'd rather lay on my couch than deal with that woman. I've had times, like I said, like where I just bought something,
And have to take it
something
action.
and shit, it just get broke. I just cleaned up a mess, and there's another mess, and I'm like, God dang it, I can't keep 2 cents in my pocket. See, people will tell you all the woes and icky and negativity of a home.
They won't tell you about the good times about laying next to someone at night and how great it feels to know that that person loves you back and respects everything you do. They won't tell
They
you
won't
about
tell,
how good they won't tell you about how good it feels when you have a 6-month-old child looking up into your eyes and you can see the sparkle in their eyes of because you're the center of their world.
they won't tell you about having a legacy. They won't tell you about being able to hold someone and have that embrace. You know, trust and believe, man. I have my fair share of a lot of demons that that bite at me, tear me down again. But I won't trade my kingdom. I won't. Why is it that the gays, they wanted a family? Why did they want a family? Why is it that most immigrants, when they come over, they predominantly come over to get their family over here or have a family over here? Do y'all not know the cradle of civilization? And that is true. That is true, Omega Dress, to mimic. He who controls the home controls the world. He who controls the world, because they can control the home. If I can control your children, if I can control your woman, if I can deceive your man, I got you. I'm watching these women become successful, rich, be on 4Bs, be powerful, be dominant, and still weak, still confused. Why they can't get them, why they can't have a Thanksgiving or prepare a pot of rice for their lover. Watching men talking, say all that gloriness of being the alpha apex. But as they start getting older, and their light, and the light to their candle starts to flicker, they start looking around and that when eating that TV dinner. Well, I'll just get a young thing to take care of me and love me. That young thing don't love you. That young that young woman or man, whatever the hell y'all like these days, they just want your money. They'll use you and abuse you. Hell, they might not even change you. See, that's real love right there. Knowing that when you're sick, somebody will care for you. When you're down to your last, when you're down on your last 2 cents, that they still are riding for you. When nobody in the world has any compassion for your sorrow, they don't have a problem wrapping their arms around you and saying, I love you. And because that lack of empathy in humanity is flickering and dying out, you watch as the sickness and this mental health start to go crazy. This is BMT, signing off with Trailer Hood and back to the basics. We love y'all. Stay safe, y'all. Peace.
Damn.